right, everyone, we'll go ahead and get started. Others can join us there. Thank you for joining us for our webinar on the benefits of distance learning. I just wanted to take a second to introduce part of our training team here at Newline. We have Agata. She is one of our trainers on the West Coast, so some of you might be familiar with her. We also have myself. I'm Ellen. I am in charge of everything that is webinar based. So I help to cover the United States as well as Canada. So we are both just part of the training team. Now, just a reminder for some of our customers that at Newline, training is always free. So if you need some training on your panels, go ahead and reach out to me. My email's in the bottom right-hand corner, and we can connect you with the right people. Now, just a couple of housekeeping things before we get going. You are all muted upon entry. Now, if you have any questions that come up as we go along, if you will enter those into the Q&A function within Zoom, that would be helpful for us. Agata is our moderator, so she is going to be looking at some of those, answering questions, as well as we will review the questions at the end and answer them for you. So with that, as far as our topic of the benefits of distance learning, we can think right now there are a ton of benefits of distance learning, and not to minimize what's going on in the world right now, but I want to put the distance learning in that aspect aside and just talk about some of the other benefits of distance learning. So first of all, one of the benefits of distance learning that we at Newline are learning a lot about is distance learning can be a time and a money saver. So for example, we have a school that has some students that are in middle school that are taking advanced math classes at the high school. And what they've been doing in the past is their students from the middle school are being bused to the high school to take math classes. Well, you can imagine that costs a lot of money to bus students to and from those classes, but it also takes away instructional time for the students in their classes in the middle school because they're having to leave early. So again, doing some type of distance learning setup, just a camera, facing the teacher, is going to give students that are in the middle school the same type of content and interaction that they need, with both saving time and money. Another benefit of distance learning is that it gives schools the ability to reach more students. Now, when I say schools, I mean both K-12 as well as higher ed. We have to think not all students spend their time in an actual classroom. There's lots of online courses, things, or reasons that students can't actually be in the classroom itself. And so distance learning gives the ability for all of those different students to be reached and interact with. So again, that's just another way to reach multiple students. It also gives students the ability to interact with people that they might not have the ability to. So for example, experts on different subjects. So students are always thinking about what they want to be when they grow up, or, a doctor, a scientist, a professional athlete. They might not, where they live, have the opportunity to meet those kinds of people. So distance learning gives the ability to contact those experts and have them virtually meet with classes and interview students as well as students can interview them. And lastly, with that, students have the ability to learn from other students that might be in a different state. So for example, I'm here in Texas. I know that the students and what they're used to in their lives look a whole lot different than students in New York City. So it gives students the ability to connect and learn from each other. Again, lots of benefits of the distance learning. Now with that, I don't want to just talk about benefits of distance learning because some of you teachers, you're in the thick of trying to figure out what works as far as distance learning tools. So I just want to take a few minutes to share some of those distance learning tools that you can use. So I'm going to cover some digital whiteboarding tools, video conferencing, as well as screen recording tools. Now, to demonstrate them, I am using our panel. This is the RS Plus. This is our newest panel that we have that we see in education, both K-12 through higher ed. Now, I'm going to be demonstrating on this panel, but I'm going to be demonstrating on a Windows computer. This panel has a little slot PC for a Windows computer, so kind of my all-in-one solution, and I'll demonstrate on here. But the same thing can be done on your laptop as well as some of your Chromebooks as well. So the first tool that I wanted to share as far as digital whiteboarding, I'm going to share two digital whiteboards. The first one I want to share is in the Google environment as one that is in the Microsoft Office environment, just because Agata and I, training, you're either one or the other as far as that environment goes. And so the first tool, the whiteboarding tool, as far as Google goes, is a tool called Google Jamboard. Now, some of you might be really familiar with Google, but you haven't heard of Google Jamboard. Well, it's part of just the G Suite, so it's going to be a cloud-based whiteboard, just like their other tools. Now, how you access Google Jamboard is you can just open up your Google browser, and over on the right side, where I've already logged in, you can see I have the waffle next to the word images. And if I touch on that, you see that I have my standard Google tools as Drive, Docs, Slides, all of those. But if you actually scroll down, that does scroll, you can see the third one down on the left says Jamboard. So if I touch on that, you'll see that right now I have different cloud-based whiteboards. Now, these whiteboards, they can be broken up by whatever you need. So, for example, they could be by subject, they could be class, by lesson, or even based on students. So if you're doing some individual tutoring for students, they can be broken up that way as well. Now, I'm just going to share some of the basic tools within Jamboard here. So I'm going to open up a new Jamboard just with the plus sign at the bottom right. And you can see that I have my blank canvas. Now, the reason I really like a digital whiteboard, especially for distance learning, is what I've seen is teachers, they are taking, an expo marker and a small whiteboard and writing on that to share images with students, or, holding up white worksheets or things like that. This makes things a little bit easier, so you're not having to constantly pull things up to show students. You can work right on your computer there. So on the left side, you can see some different tools. I'm going to start with the pen here. I'm going to grab my color. And I will point out, I used to be a kindergarten teacher, so I'm going to go with a very easy math problem to start here. And you can see that I can freely write on that. You can add other content. So for example, I can add sticky notes. So if I wanted to give some options as answers, put a couple in here. And one more. There you go. So you can see these sticky notes, and they are interactive, even on your laptop, so I can grab them and move them around. You can also add images. So there are images that you've uploaded onto your computer. You can use those, or you can do a Google image search for them. And I'm going to search for a fun, cute topic here. Some puppies. Oh, all right, that one will fit our math problem. So you can see you can insert images there as well. Now, I do want to point out that on a laptop and a computer mouse, it can be hard to write. I'm very aware of that. If you do have access to a touch screen of some sort, maybe that's a touchscreen laptop or a touchscreen Chromebook. I have one here, iPad, tablet. Those will give a little bit of a better writing experience as far as whiteboarding goes. Now, what you can do is you actually also have the ability to have these both communicate to each other. So for example, if I have this displayed on my computer, I can open up the same exact Jamboard on my my touchscreen device and be able to write on it. So again, I can do that smoother writing experience. So I'm going to open up on my Chromebook that same Jamboard. I just did the same thing where I went to the waffle in the top right and just selected on this one. And I am on my Chromebook going to grab my pen, and I'm going to go ahead and circle the right answer here. So again, I don't have the best writing, you can tell, but you can see that it's a little bit smoother writing experience than maybe using a computer mouse. Now, Jamboard, just like the other tools within Google, they have a share button in the top right. So a teacher can share a link of this whiteboard out to students as well, so they can interact with it as well. Now, one other whiteboarding tool that I wanted to mention, because I said I would do one in Google and one in Office, is the Microsoft Whiteboard. Microsoft Whiteboard is a free application for Office 365, but it's also housed on Windows devices. So in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see that I have the time, then I have a keyboard, and then I have a little pen. Now on your Windows laptop or device, you don't see that pen. What you want to do is right-click on the taskbar, or I'm sorry, the toolbar at the bottom. And when you hold down or right-click, you'll see a button, a big pop-up, and there is one of the buttons, I think the fifth one down, that says Show Windows Ink Workspace. You'll want to touch on that until it gets a check mark, and then you can see you'll have the pen in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, when I touch on that pen, I'll get two options. The one on the left is the Microsoft Whiteboard, which is the one that you'll want. And from here, you can log in with your Office 365 account, but you'll see that I also have some cloud-hosted whiteboards. And these whiteboards can, again, be broken down, just like I said with the Google Jamboard, based on subject, student, lesson, all of those different ways that you can. Now, just to show some of the tools within the whiteboard, I'm going to start a new one here. But you'll see down at the bottom, lots of different tools. My favorite is the glitter pen. I'm sure, Agata, you can agree with me here, but you can write on this one as well with a fancy glitter pen. And you can add other content as well. So just like the Jamboard, you can insert images. So whether those are ones that are on your computer or you can search for them. You also can add things like PDF, Word documents, as well as your PowerPoint. So if you have PowerPoints that you have been using for your classes so far, and maybe you want to make them a little bit more collaborative and be able to write on them, you, again, can pull in your PowerPoint. I'll just pull in one here. And I got off of it. And just to point out, the Microsoft Whiteboard, it has an infinite page, so you can write all over it. And all right, I messed it up. I'll try one more time. I feel like I'm back in the classroom when my principal came to observe me and the technology didn't work. Here we go. I got some internet issues here. So I'll go ahead and tap on one of the slides and insert them here. And you can see that I can adjust it, but then I can also write on it, write all around it, whatever I need to there. So again, those are the two digital whiteboarding tools that can be used. There's other ones out there, but those are two that might meet your needs now. Now, you might be wondering, like, these are great whiteboarding tools, but how do I share this content with my students? Well, one, those tools do have sharing capabilities built into them. So as I said, Google Jamboard does. You can share a link. The same thing can be said with Microsoft Whiteboard. Now, a great thing about the Microsoft Whiteboard is I can add people to see this, but they also can collaborate as well. So if I actually use this little plus sign and the character there, I can invite people that are within Newline or within your schools that are on your, have the same email there. So I'm going to go ahead and invite one of my colleagues, Lauren, here to my whiteboarding session. And hopefully she can answer those math problems. So you'll see in a second that Lauren, she's not at my house and she's able to write on my whiteboard. So again, that's one way that students can see the content in this collaborative space. Now they also can see the work through video conferencing or screen recording tools. So just an example, I'm going to bring up Microsoft Teams. Within Microsoft Teams, you know, some of the other popular ones that are out there right now, Zoom, Google Meet, all of those can be used. They have a feature within them that allows for you to share your screen. So if you pulled up your whiteboard, you can share that screen with them there. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Microsoft Teams, and I'm going to maybe surprise Lauren on inviting her to my meeting here. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and invite her. All right, we're calling Lauren. So this would be great during distance learning where you have the ability to see and interact with students, but then you can also see their work. Oh, there she is. You can see their work as well. So this is great for tutoring and just working with students, you know, in live in action rather than recording. Let's see. Okay, she did it. She answered them. So again, you can see a lot of uses for doing video conferencing as well as being able to do whiteboarding with the collaborative piece. Now, lastly, when it comes to, oh, I hung up on her there. When it comes to screen recording, because not all schools are doing video conferencing. Some, they don't have to do live lessons. So one of the screen recording tools that I tend to use is actually a Newline recording tool. It's within our whiteboarding software. It's called IdeaMax. And IdeaMax, it is a software that comes free with our panels. However, right now we are giving it away to free for anyone that wants the ability to screen record. So even if you do not have a Newline panel, you have access to it. Agata is going to enter the URL for that in the Q&A, so in the chat. So feel free to go ahead and check that link out, enter your information, and we will get you access to IdeaMax, no strings attached. Now, how IdeaMax works is I'm going to go ahead and open it up here. And like I said, it's a digital whiteboarding tool, but it also has a kind of a transparency mode. So I'm going to turn it into transparency mode. Go ahead and bring up some content that I have. And within IdeaMax, hopefully you can see it there. There is a toolbox. And if I touch on that, the top right, there is a recorder or camcorder. And if I touch on that, and of course give it permission, you'll see up at the top, I have my record button. So if I touch on that, you can see that I now can interact. I can write whatever I need to do on here. And when I'm done, and I've put the content I want my students to know, I can stop. It's going to automatically save it into the file explorer. So I can change the name on it here. Here we go. And now it's saved onto my computer. So I can enter that however I'd like to get to my students, whether that's email, maybe we're using Teams, maybe some other LMS that you can share it with. Now, two other recording tools that I have used in the past that I want to just mention. There's also Screencastify as well as Loom, L-O-O-M. Those are extensions that you can add to Google. The great thing about them is when you do record and you're all done, it will automatically create a link for you to share out with your students. So that wraps up the benefits of distance learning webinar. want to thank you for joining us. I am going to go over to the Q&A, or Agata, if you want to, again, read those out to me, and I can help answer some of the questions that you might have on distance learning as well as Newline.
Thanks, Ellen. That's super helpful and informative, I think, especially to me, because I haven't played with Jamboard myself that much, but it is pretty akin to Microsoft Web. So those are actually both really good tools. I personally find that teachers love using them, just from my own experience on the West Coast. And the Google Jamboard looks like an awesome tool because it's directly in your Google Drive. You don't have to go anywhere else. And you can share all that content really easily, which I know is pretty important right now to be able to share and have people be able to view that. So, yeah, like Ellen said, there's a bunch of screen recording tools, and we actually have a question about the one that you were just showing us, which is IdeaMax. Mike asks if that will record audio as well.
Good question. So it does record audio as well. You just need to make sure you have a microphone on your device. So if you have it on your laptop and you have a microphone on your laptop, it will absolutely record the audio there. Now, I will just point out, because I'm using the Newline panel, this one does not have a microphone built into it. So I'm not able to pick up audio there. However, again, you can add a microphone to it.
And having one of those cheapo Bluetooth microphones that you can get on Amazon, this is completely hardware agnostic. So no matter what kind of recording device you have, you can plug it in. Right now, you guys are listening to me on a pair of headphones that are plugged into my laptop that I can plug into my display. So you have a whole bunch of options there. You're not limited to one kind of microphone or anything like that. So any kind of recording will work. That's actually all the questions we have. Does anybody else have anything for us about distance learning, about any of these? What is the difference then in what Octopus does versus IdeaMax? Okay, that's a great question. So, Ellen, you didn't actually talk about Octopus, but Octopus does have a screen recording feature as well. So I don't know if you want to pull it up real quick and show everybody.
Yeah.
So I'll talk a little bit about Octopus too. Octopus is, IdeaMax and Octopus are a little bit different. IdeaMax is your whiteboard presentation builder, whereas Octopus has a couple more fun type features for interactivity. So they both have a screen record function and they do pretty much exactly the same thing. The one nice thing about Octopus is it does do inside and outside the program as well, just like IdeaMax. So, Ellen, if you want to show everybody where those features are.
Yeah. So right now, well, actually, let me go back here. And so right now I'm on the home screen of Octopus, and I've selected on the whiteboard tools. And over on the left side, you can see there are a bunch of different tools, writing, drawing tools. But there's also at the bottom, there's capture tools. So you can take a screenshot of here, what you have here, but there's also the second row down on the left, there's a small little red circle with record. And you can touch on that. And then from there, it's generating real quick, I can tap on the center of it, and you can see it's down there at the bottom. But now I can, grab my tools, use those here. But like Agata said, I can also put this in a transparency mode and interact with maybe the worksheets that I have created outside of Octopus. And when I'm all done, I can tap on that again down at the bottom and stop it. And it will also bring up my file explorer. There we go. I'm not stopping it apparently, but it'll bring up the file explorer. You can say, change the name and then save that to your computer as well as a recording. I'm done fighting it. So again,
sorry, Ellen. And for those of you guys that have the RS unit, or even one of the older models, if you have an older model unit, IdeaMax and Octopus both come free. So we never charge for our software. IdeaMax and Octopus come free with their displays. If you don't see those, you can reach out to us, reach out to Ellen at the email below. We can definitely help you get set up with that. So as long as you have a Newline display, Octopus is going to be free and standard with that. And then you can use that Newline Cares link to get a free IdeaMax license if you don't have it. So either way, you can get some screen record tools, and there are tons of other ones out there. just like the Loom one that I mentioned earlier.
Any other questions? All right. Well, if there aren't any other questions, again, thank you for joining us for our webinar on the benefits of distance learning. We should have some more webinars coming up. Our next one will be on Newline and our Zoom partnership. So make sure to check out our website for information on that and to register. Thank you.